The scroll is 17 feet long. It was painted around the 12th century in Song Dynasty, China, and it's called Spring Festival Along the River. Some say it's the Chinese Mona Lisa. It's almost as much as a film as it is a painting. And I'm just showing you highlights of it here. I got to hear an entire lecture on just this scroll. I was a graduate student then auditing an undergraduate art history class. And I didn't get anything out of the lecture. Anything practical, at least. I couldn't use the knowledge that I had just received. I couldn't sell that knowledge. But I was able to revel in the beauty of it and in the magnificence of human artistry. It was easily the best lecture of that semester. But the students, they just packed up and left after it as if nothing consequential had taken place. And so I walked up to the professor, thanked him for the lecture, not to boost my grade. I wasn't even taking the class for credit, but just to communicate gratitude. And that professor, recognizing a lover of the liberal, not servile, but liberal arts, gave me a gift. And I am now going to pass that gift on to you. The gift was an old New Yorker cartoon. This is the one. He told me about it. He said there were two men at a cocktail party toward the end of their careers, and one said to the other, "You know, I've learned a lot in the last 63 years, but unfortunately, most of it is about aluminum." Now, by sharing that cartoon with me, I don't think that professor was mocking those who make a living selling aluminum. Instead, what the professor was saying to me is, hey, isn't it good to be able to revel in the beauty of things more glorious than the manufacture and sale of aluminum? We who study the liberal arts, he was telling me, get to study things not for what we can get out of them, but for their own sake. And that's what makes the liberal arts liberal. We don't call them liberal because they're progressive. The liberal in liberal arts is not political. It is liberal in the sense of not servile, free, unchained by mundane concerns, not bound by practical considerations. You see, in the course of human civilization, where practical concerns are a constant pressure, some people, they were the Greeks, said, you know, wouldn't it be nice if at least some of us, instead of just plowing fields or selling grain or aluminum or defending the city-state, necessary as such activities may be, wouldn't it be nice if maybe some of us could pursue the kind of knowledge that is liberated from worldly concerns, hence the liberal arts? Things like mathematics and music, language and literature. Here's how the liberal arts were gorgeously personified by Christians in Florence. Now, the list of liberal arts has expanded. So you can now even study aluminum in a liberal arts kind of way, right? You can study its chemical composition in a chemistry class, or the way it has influenced the course of human events in a history class. And yes, you can even study the buying and selling of aluminum in a liberal arts way. It's called the discipline of economics, but be careful. Because when you start thinking about it only for what you can get out of it, For the goal of selling aluminum to make money, you've left the domain of the liberal arts and you're back to the servile arts again. You're back to just aluminum. Now let me be clear. We know you have to get a job, and that we do. And that a college education is a step in that direction. We get that. Some of you might end up selling aluminum. And there's nothing inherently wrong with those practical considerations. We have a Center for Vocation and Career to help you ask those very important questions. But don't ask them too early, please. Because a precious 4 years has been set aside to ask questions just for their own sake. There's a roof over your head and food for you in the dining hall. Things that most humans in history had to expend all of their energy to procure. But someone else, whether it's your parents, a scholarship, or a future you, if you're taking loans, has provided those things for you. Why have they done that, right? So that you can study things for their own sake, searching for your own spring festival along the river. Here's another way of putting it. What do you think those aluminum dealers will do when they have leisure time? If they're wise, they'll pursue the liberal arts. They will read deeply and richly, read not just about making a living, but about why we live in the first place. And if they don't have time for that, as many don't, maybe they'll hope that maybe my kids will have that chance. Or maybe my kids' kids will have that chance. There might be 5 or 6 generations of people behind you who have said, I didn't get to study things for their own sake, apart from mundane concerns, but they'll get to. And that's you, the people in this room. I have a friend, David Bailey in Richmond. He has a shirt that says, I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. And studying the liberal arts is a dream that people may have had for you. John Adams, he's in France, writing back to his wife Abigail in 1780. He put it this way. I must study politics and war, that my sons may have the liberty to study mathematics and philosophy. My sons ought to study mathematics and philosophy, geography, natural history, naval architecture, navigation, commerce, and agriculture in order to give their children a right to study painting, poetry, music, architecture, statuary, tapestry, and porcelain. The future president is reporting that it is not the historical norm for humans to have the chance to study beautiful things for their own sake, just because they're beautiful. It's actually very rare. So don't waste the chance that you've been given by indulging only practical concerns. Some would say today that the liberal arts in America are too fragile to survive. The distraction technology we have is too powerful, weakening our ability to focus or farming out thought to AI. Others would say that American politics are now too divisive, so that the liberal arts are eviscerated by politically liberal or politically conservative activist politics. And those prophets of doom, they might be right. And if you want my honest opinion, I don't think the liberal arts are faring very well on most college campuses for precisely those reasons. But at Wheaton, for now, things are different. And by God's grace, they'll stay different. The difference is that here we make the liberal arts servile again. That's strange. I just contradicted everything I just told you, didn't I? Right? But I mean we make them servile in a way that keeps them liberal. And even makes them more liberal, more free, because we put the liberal arts in service to the Lord Jesus Christ. the master of all the arts, because he's the one through whom all things were made. He's the maker of aluminum. The venerable former Wheaton professor Mark Knoll put it this way: for believers to be studying created things, anything, is to be studying the works of Christ. Do you think it's an accident that the major institutions of learning like Oxford, Harvard, and Princeton all began in service to Jesus Christ? Do you think it's an accident that the Greek vision for the liberal arts has flourished so well under Christian auspices? Look at those official mottos. Do those places believe those things today? I pray they do. But I know that we believe this here. So please roll up your sleeves, check the power of your and my servile phones, which are mostly, by the way, made of aluminum, and get ready to study the liberal arts in service to Christ. Welcome to Wheaton. We look forward to seeing you in class.